Despite what every trading educator tries to tell you, emotional mastery in trading is completely different to emotional mastery in life. Don't make the fatal mistake of getting the two things mixed up. Now, most trading educators will tell you trading is easy, right? But it's psychology that you need to master. We've all heard it before. 90% psychology, 10% trading. Now, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but it's complete and utter rubbish. The complete opposite is true. 90% of your success is down to trading skill, knowing what you're doing and really understanding why markets move. For example, looking at things like order flow, real buyers and sellers, and dropping all those ridiculous random squiggly lines on your chart that are completely meaningless. I mean, you wouldn't catch Amazon using random lines and trend lines or whatever you call them to analyze or forecast their prices. So just stop if that's what you're doing. You're going to go round in circles for years. It's painful for any professional trader like me to see it. It's just a marketing trick to make you think that all that's required in this business is to chuck a couple of lines on your chart, control your emotions, and you'll be loaded overnight. It doesn't work like that, right? Trading is very, very, very difficult and requires an incredible understanding of what is going on behind the chart. Granted, psychology is important, but it's a very small part of the equation and it comes much later. In my experience, most people that fail at trading, it's because they don't know what they're doing. Their psychology may not be the best, but it's something they can easily work on later, but it isn't the reason that they're failing. Now, unless you actually know what drives markets and how they actually function, what good is a strong psychology? It's not going to make any difference, right? If you don't know what you're doing. Think of a 100-meter runner. If you can't run the 100 meters in under 10 seconds, you're not going to be anywhere near the elite. You're not going to be competing for anything. It doesn't matter how good your psychology is. First, you need to get into shape, right? Learn technique, build your physique, get under 10 seconds. Then to get those final few milliseconds, psychology becomes important. We hear Olympic athletes talk about this all the time. Get on that stage first, right? The reason it's flipped around by trading educators who want you to think psychology is 90% is simple, in my opinion. Because all that garbage you get taught, all that technical indicator rubbish, when it inevitably doesn't work, they can blame you. It was your psychology, your weak mind, your emotions, right? Not the method you were taught. Don't let anyone do that to you, okay? They're pulling the wool over your eyes. How many people do you know that go to work with a psychology book? They don't. It's completely ridiculous. Now, when I worked in a professional firm, and I don't mean watching YouTube videos and not learning in my bedroom, I mean a proper institutional firm. Trading strategy was everything. Understanding the market very, very deeply. Psychology was very important, but it came much later. I've got something amazing to show you. A top-down institutional approach. You won't see this anywhere on the internet. Now, in a professional firm, you're taught context first, bigger picture. It's about 70% of the equation, using things like market profile, volume profile. Then the next step, about 20% of the equation, is to look more at the day in question, using things like the VWAP, and finally, fine-tuning using order flow, about 5% of the equation. So that's 95% of what you should be focusing on right there. Then, when you've built consistency already and you're looking for that final push, psychology comes into play. You know, when I started looking at psychology, I was already consistent before psychology helped to keep me there. It's the final 5%. Now, the reason why people allow themselves to believe that trading psychology is 90% when it's actually more like 5% is totally understandable, because psychology in everyday life with things like family, relationships is very different. It probably is more like 90%. You know, we're faced with constant challenges that require constant emotional control. I get that. And many people who know me and have done the G7 courses know I've spent time in a monastery on more than one occasion and meditated 14 hours a day for long periods of time, and in relationships and non-trading matters, it's been incredibly helpful for me. But don't let a trading educator ever trick you into thinking it's your psychology or emotions that's holding you back in trading. They're just doing that to save their own skin and to take the focus of what's being taught, random squiggly lines. Trading is a very different proposition to a relationship, for example. The reality is, if you're struggling to get consistent, you need to go back to the drawing board and maybe scrap everything you're looking at and start again. And I mean trading strategy, not trading psychology. That's why no one does it, because they can't accept that that's what's needed, right? To dump everything and start again, it's too painful to accept. But if you don't do it, you're potentially just putting off the inevitable. And look, it's nothing to be ashamed of. Each failure is just one step closer to what? Ultimate success. As hard as that is to kind of accept, the sooner you do it, strip everything off your chart and start again, the closer you will be to finding the true reason why your trading may not be where you want it to be. Now, I accept I've delivered a slightly different message today to what's out there, but by doing that, hopefully it's exactly the thing that acts as a catalyst to get you back on the right track, rather than me misleading you and trying to blame you and saying it's your emotions at play. If you liked what you saw, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button so we can get it out there. Follow me on Instagram at EnvyForex, or at the very least, check out my free 4-part training series. The link is below.